Welcome to the Live Loving live stream with John Davis. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the Live Loving live stream. It is I, John Davis, and I thought I'd open tonight with that beautiful picture of my buddy Joshua staring back at you. I'm going to reach up here and adjust my camera a little bit so I'm better centered. That looks better to me. Hope it looks better to you as well. I've been playing in the studio all day long today with all kinds of cool new tech and downsizing a lot of things because of my plan to move. So today has been just a fun day of tweaking and popping, and so it's been just a lot of fun. Hello to everyone. Susan, welcome. Marianne Stikas, I'm not sure what's not me, but okay. And aloha to you as well, Maui Muse. I hope everything's okay. With the island of Maui, we should send some positive thoughts to Hawaii tonight. They are going through some pretty terrible stuff, and I think if we send some positive intentions, that would be pretty good. Hello, David. David has arrived, being before the veil. I'd like to say congratulations live and to our good friend Marcy for getting her 700 subscriber. And I think Marcy, tomorrow, are you having the drawing on some event on your channel? Make sure you let us know what that is so that we can all attend. Also, tomorrow at 4 p.m., I will be going live. Not tomorrow, Sunday at 4 p.m. I will be going live with Kim Carey on the Intuitive View channel with a discussion on empathy in the coming world. And I'm really looking forward to that. I always enjoy my time with Kim. And there's another event later this month that is up on the community page. I don't have the name of the group right now. I'm going live with them as well on the 18th. So keep an eye on the community page for any of those things. Let me see. Let me look down here. Okay. Where am I moving to? I am manifesting a move back to the beach, and that's kind of my goal. I'm originally from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and I want to go back to the East Coast. And now that my son's in college, I'm going to start working my way in that direction so he can come down and hang with me down there. So that'll be so very cool. The Sunday is Sunday 7 p.m. video, so make sure you guys sign into Marcy's and subscribe to Marcy's channel. Spirit Made Me Do It. If you just click on her name, Spirit Made Me Do It, in the chat, it'll take you to her page, and you can just click subscribe. And just make sure you do that for her. Marcy is amazing, and everyone I know, including David right above her in the comments section, anybody I know who's had readings with her have just said how phenomenal they are and what a great spirit she is. And I had someone, and Marcy might not know this either, I just had someone thank me in my comments section for introducing the community to Marcy, saying that she's such a lovely spirit. And I happen to agree. I happen to just love her. And David, let's talk about David. David's on here too, being before the veil. David has experiences in pre-life planning, and if you are someone who has that experience or would like to know more about that experience, David's channel talks about the pre-birth experience, and he's collecting stories. It's an actual project. He's collecting stories from people who have pre-birth memories, and so that he can make it a study. And if you have any of those experiences, make sure you go over and check out David's stuff as well. For me, it's been a tremendously interesting week. Every so often, you have that experience where you're as you're purging your home, you find things that you've had forever that you've not used. And during my purging my house lately, I've went through my video studio and I have been downsizing it because I went down the rabbit hole of video production for a while there, and I ended up with more equipment than I could possibly need. And my brother put up an amazing video. He actually talk about an art project. He went out, he found all these 1980s Casio keyboards, and he found all these old 1980s electronic robot toys. and he wrote a song called Cassiopeia, and I'll try to remember to put the link up in the community page. And he shot it on a 1980s video camera, playing with 1980s Casio keyboards with 1980s robots that he had to actually repair each one, and he created this really cool video of robots walking all around, and it was really a neat production. So I'll make sure I put that up on the thing. Being before the actually, David, I do not have any of those Roman dice anymore. I made those a long time ago for a gaming company, actually, that does Renaissance festivals, and I used to make them in bulk, and I actually had jigs and everything, so I could make all the pips in the right places. And for those of you who don't know what pips are, those are the dots on dice. And so I used to make those stainless steel Roman dice. But and for those of you who don't know what Roman dice is, it's a hexagonal piece of steel or a hexagonal shape that has dots on the sides. So instead of being a square, it's a long, almost like a cylinder, but in the hexagonal shape. So that's how they're made. It's very interesting. And where David saw them was on DeviantArt. If you go on DeviantArt.com and you search JD Action Hero or Stage Sword, you'll find a gallery of things that I made, specifically swords and daggers and things that I made for theater. And I have a whole gallery of the artwork that I've done there. So you can check that out. That's where David saw it as well. Do I still have the tooling? I really don't. I haven't done that in easily 7 or 8 years, so I don't have any of that stuff anymore. Well, let me see who else is here and joining us this evening. Brent, hello, Brent. Georgia, Brooklyn is in the house. I wish I could hear the accents in the chat board. And Larry is here. Hello, Larry. So, what I'd like to... I'm going to take a quick drink here. So, what I'd like to talk about, back to that story of my brother, which made me think about him, was in the process of purging, I started just seeing all these things that he could use in a video studio in his own house. So I just started sending him stuff. And I have sent him more video stuff than you could possibly imagine. He's now got green screens and 4K cameras, and he is set up. He is set up. But it made me feel so good. It made me feel so good to be able to give something like that to someone I love. The other day, I had a friend of mine call me up, and they were in financial dire straits. And as they were talking, I knew it was money, and I just said, how much? And while they were talking, I went on PayPal, and I sent it to them. Well, hold on. My window's open, and the rain is starting to blow in. So I sent the money, and then for a day or two, I was just really realizing how grateful I was that she called me, how grateful I was that she gave me the opportunity to do something loving for a friend. You know, if I have the money, I'll give it. If I have anything that they need, I'll give it. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to give the love in that way, and for the fact that they loved me and trusted me enough to come to me in their time of need, to me was a beautiful gesture on their part of trusting and loving and knowing they were safe with me. And when someone comes to you and asks and you can help, you know, as Joshua says in the Bible, you know, give them your cloak also. You know, give them whatever you got, because it's going to come back. It's going to come back, and you're going to be able to then express that into the world, and be grateful for them being able to come to you, because that's a part of yourself that's coming in need, and you're able to give it back and hand it back to them and give that experience of them feeling your love without a condition. The next day, the friend I loaned the money to says, I don't know how I'm going to pay you back. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want it back. What taking it back is just literally the experience of kind of almost negating what I did. And it doesn't have to be. And if it's the money, if you need the money back, of course you make your own deal. But for me, in that moment, I really just love the expression of I was able to do that for my friend who I love, and I just wanted to express how beautiful it is when someone comes to you in need. It means they trust you in that time of need, in their time of need. So let me jump over and look at some of these comments coming in. Hello from Utah. Hello. Chitra has arrived. Eva, how are you? Let me jump down here. Being before the veil, David, Truth Seeker. Georgia, I said hello to you already, I believe. Yeah, I think I've got everybody. So, guys, what topics, what comments, what questions do you have that you'd like to discuss this evening? Understand that when we come to these things, I'm an open book. I will talk about anything, and I'll hold nothing back. If there's something that I come to that is too deeply personal, I'll still tell you something about it. There's some things I may pull back on, but I haven't had that experience yet on one of these live streams. I haven't had someone ask me something so personal I couldn't say, and I'm pretty open about anything that you'll ask me. So if you could put all your questions in all caps, that'd be great. So you asked, so Marcy, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question, Marcy. Yeah, I like the question for Joshua series as well. And someone just got a little annoyed with me on them saying, why do you feel you can answer for? Well, I was like, whatever, the actual issue that the person had was that I put a disclaimer that I wasn't channeling. But as far as the questions so far, there's a couple questions coming up that I don't want to show up real, I don't want to do you foreshadowing. I don't want to ruin them. But there's some that are coming up that are really good. There's of the ones we've done so far. Let's see, what have we done so far? How do you love? The one that came out today was really a good one because that the essence of that question is people feeling that Jeshua had some greater power than they do, and how can I love like you, right? And rather than thinking it's unattainable and so far away, it's extremely attainable. It's just a matter of choosing to do it. And so that was a good one for me. But let's see, of all the ones, I will say I enjoyed the Joel Osteen one too. Which was your favorite of anybody who's had them so far? Which was your favorite so far? And please remember, if you can, put all the questions and topics in all caps. Oh, Journey to Michael. Hello. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. And Next Level Soul, Alex is a lovely guy. I really enjoyed being with him. And we're supposed to get together again. We haven't got that set up yet, but we're working on it. Your question, let me pop this one up here. I've been getting footage or orbs in the sky while connecting in love and appreciation. What do I think? I think that we live in a universe that is built of energy. And I think that the experience that we're living within is an expression of our energy. And I think when we express love and appreciation, we see love and appreciation. And that's in the general living of life. When you put out love, you get love in return. But I think it's an energetic universe. And I think if you can accept the idea that it's a spiritual universe, then seeing the energies and the orbs is logical to me. It's just logical that we have that expression, that we see it. And a lot of times our cameras will pick it up. I snapped that picture of the church in Norway, and my buddy's face showed up in it. we live in a spiritual soup, right? And the spiritual soup is the product of our belief. And when we become more aware that this expression of the universe is energetic and an illusion, then the individual sparks of consciousness, the individual emotions and techniques that elicit those feelings, will be shown in that form. Now that the rain has stopped, I'm going to open the window, let some of that cool air in. All right. So I hope that answers your question, David. Let me jump over. Let's see what else we got here. Chitra, I love you. My time management has been working great by paring things back. I feel more rested. I feel more connected. My private sessions seem to even be going better. I feel like I am more present. Because before I was very much feeling like I was always racing and always trying to do the next thing. And now, because I've been paring things back and giving myself love, I feel that love in return. And you may notice that I actually feel like I have more time to make the videos better. I've been doing more time with edits and thumbnails, and I just feel like they're more effective. And I will tell you, the channel has grown. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I reached a milestone myself, just like Marcy. Our channel broke 8,000, and we're on our way to 8,100. We're at 8,167 right now, I believe, or 8,067 right now. So, and my other channel, the Recovering Catholic, it broke 3,000 this week. So I'm very excited to see how it's all coming together. So let me jump down and look at the comments again. So I hope that answers your question, Chitra. It's working great. Hello, Siddharth. How are you? I'm glad you've enjoyed the series. That whole idea of what would you ask Joshua, to me, it was a way of actually focusing in on what people would really want to know in their spiritual life. Because I think if you had the opportunity to talk to Buddha or Krishna or Jeshua or any of those avatar type folks, you'd suddenly realize that the questions you'd ask are the things that are most important to you. And so by asking you guys, what's the one question you would ask of Jeshua? To me, it's like that's the topic that people would be most interested in. That's the topic that people would be fascinated by. And I wanted to do it as what's the one question I would ask Jeshua? And there's a bunch that came in, and I'm always looking for more. So just throw that in comments section at any time under any video. What is your favorite memory? Oh, this is a great one, Susan. I love this question. When this channel first started back 2 years ago, which we're almost 2 years old. Imagine that. I think it's the 18th of September or something like that. Or, we're September. We're only a few weeks away from 2 years. And almost 1,200 videos. That's crazy, too. I did a video early on called Jeshua Liked Figs, or Jesus Liked Figs. I don't know what I used on the title, but for a while I used Jesus because I thought it would be picked up by their YouTube algorithm, but I prefer Jeshua because that's who he is. But it's probably called Jeshua Like Figs or Jesus Like Figs. That video is based around a very specific memory I have. And we're sitting on the side of a road, a dirt road, and Jeshua is leaning against a tree, and his wife is right there, and they're just giggling and laughing, and we're all just hanging out eating figs, just laughing. I had not a care in the world. And honestly, that's my favorite memory of him, because he was funny. He laughed. He loved life, and he loved figs, and just that beautiful moment of camaraderie. And in that same moment, I'm watching these two people who totally love each other. Him and Ishti, his wife, Miriam, as most people know her. But He called her Ishti, which is Aramaic for wife. And that moment was of just not in front of large crowds, not having people come for healings, not going into cities and being controversial. That moment of just sitting on the side of the road eating figs. That's honest to God my favorite moment. I hope that answers your question. Might not be the one you wanted to hear, but it's truth. Let's see. Hello, Indoor Cat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Dread Pirate. I love your name. Thank you very, very much, Dread Pirate. I love the name. One of the best fights ever put on film. Dread Pirate Roberts. Let's see. So, David, let's you and I talk about the helicopters and stuff off the live stream, if you don't mind. Well, Marcy, as they come to me, I will definitely be pushing them your way. Yeah, and I agree with you. The questions for Jeshua are fantastic, and I think by framing it to them as what would you ask Jeshua, then you get better questions, because people asking me, they're like, it's just John, right? But when they think of Jeshua, they get to be pretty profound, and I just love it. And I did one the other day that the person who sent me the question really didn't like my answer, and I have to be honest. I'm going to give the answer that I believe is correct, that I truly believe, and they didn't like the answer. And this channel, my channel, this live stream, is not about pleasing people. It's about answering the questions from that perspective. I'm telling my truth, and if my truth doesn't fit with you, that I respect that. But there are times when I tell what I totally believe to be the truth, and it is totally taken the wrong way by people who get very defensive about what I'm saying. Truth Seeker found me through gorging on my videos. I gorged on them too. 1,200 of them in 2 years. It's crazy. It's more than two a day. Joshua is an amazing individual. Hello, Zuzana. I hope that's right. I love your name. I love this question. This is a question I get frequently, actually. My first regression was the start of something very unique. When I first opened my eyes and I was seeing 2,000 years ago, I was looking around, I turned, and to my right was my father, but not my father from this life, my father from that life. Zebedee was standing there. And he's talking to me, and I could not understand him. He was speaking in a different language. And I was looking at him, and I was like, and I said to the regressionist, I can't understand him. And in her mind, she thought it was too quiet. And she said, imagine you have a megaphone next to your ear. And I don't know what that concept did, but when that went up there, I suddenly heard in English. And from that point on, everything was English. Everything was in totally English. But that first little moment was not my language. And I'm going to guess it was Aramaic. but I do not know because it was a very quick memory, and it wasn't coming from me; it was coming from someone else. So I don't know if I could even identify it if I heard it again. Now I have heard the Our Father in Aramaic, and to me it just sounds like a Middle Eastern language. So yeah, I hear everything in English, and a lot of times I get the knowing in English as well. So I hope that answers your question, indoor cat. Teresa, hello. Well, look how far you've come in just 2 years, David. Yeah, Susan, you're right. It was so fun that moment, that simple moment, and that's we ought to take more time with the friends we have in this life and just really appreciate those simple moments of just sitting by on your porch, laughing, joking, smiling, having a good time, and just experience how good that feels, because that is, in my opinion, the true essence of love. And so yeah, that's why that in that past life, that's why that moment stands out, because we were so free. There was nothing to stop us. Um, see, I'm Susanna in English. Well, I would love to know how to pronounce it in your language though, because I that to me is fascinating to know how to say it correctly. I used to listen to a movie podcast, and it used to bother me when they would say Gal Gadot, because her pronunciation was Gal Gadot, and I wanted to hear the Gadot, and so I contacted them. I said, you really should use her actual pronunciation, and they actually did change, which I like. I watched that guy today on YouTube, and he actually said Gal Gadot again. So yeah. So what other questions do we have? Yes, Susan, I'm loving you. When you put love into anything, it gives you love in return. I drive, and because I love driving, driving gives me love in return. I go to the beach and I go in the ocean gives me love in return. Right? The experience of my illusion is my belief, and so when I'm believing that I love something, I get that experience returned to me. And it really comes down to coming to the responsibility of realizing that you are the one in charge of your outcome. You are the one in charge of your experience. You are the one in charge of your expression into the world. As I said before, we are the inspiration. God is the paintbrush, and the canvas. But your inspiration is what's being painted on the canvas with the paint and the paintbrush that is God. God gives us all the substance of the universe and says, create with it. But we have to be the ones to create, and we create through simply choosing to love what we're doing or hate what we're doing. If you hate what you're doing, you're going to have a hateful experience. I just choose to love it because it's much more fun, like eating figs on the side of a road. um, well, Chitra, I'm glad you like the coffee cup from the website. And you guys, if you go to my website, johnofnew.com, there's a little thing that says store. You can go see all kinds of things, sweatshirts and mugs and stickers and copies of this thing, this beautiful painting, um, are all right there. So if you feel free to go there. It actually does help me keep a roof over my head, too. And coffee does rock my world as well. When I did the USO, this is a great question, Marcy. You said, when I did the USO, was I aware of my past life at that point? I was. And it was so fascinating to me how I just always seemed to be ending up on biblical sites. I landed in Al Nazaria, and they said, "Do you want to go out and see the ziggurat?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, ziggurat?" I was literally in the city of Ur, the home of the prophet Abraham, and it was the ziggurat of Ur that I got to climb and go up on top of. That site is less than 3% of it is uncovered, and the ground is just littered with 3,000-4,000-year-old pottery, and it's amazing when you're there. And we went down in the tombs of that. Then we took off in a helicopter. We were flying cross country, landed, and at a refueling site, and I have the headphones on, and I hear the captain talking to the co-pilot. He says, "There's something biblical about this place. What is it?" And the co-pilot says, "This is the ruins of the city of Babylon." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? So then we land at another base, and we're getting ready to perform, and they give us a tour of the base, and they drive us way out to the outskirts of the base, and there's an oasis, like a classic oasis, palm trees, and it was really the classic oasis. And he says, "Yeah, this is a famous oasis." I said, "Really? What?" "This is the oasis that Abraham stayed at on his way to the city of Ur." So I kept running into all these biblical sites. But I also had moments in that where there was one day we were getting a tour of the base. We were in Kyrgyzstan, and we were getting the tour of the base, and we had a prop malfunction that actually had hurt my comedy partner, and I had to go fix it because I was the one who built it, right? So they all went off on the tour, and I took the prop, which was a bed of nails, and I took it to the motor pool and had a guy. And then the whole time I was sitting there with the guy, I was suddenly basically told to tell him my past life story. And it ended up being the reason that prop was, and I was in that place, was to tell him that story. It ended up becoming a very profound experience for him and for me both. And when I went back and met up with the other guys, they were all worried that I was going to be upset that I missed seeing all these cool things. And I was like, I had a much better experience. I had a much better experience doing something loving and cool for somebody. So that was my experience. I did know, and I loved it. So let me go down again and see what else we got. What was the daily life with Joshua? John's daily life was a very interesting experience because John was what's known as the forerunner. John would run ahead with his brother, and they would set up lodging and housing, and they'd set up places for him to speak. And they were basically the PR team. They went ahead. And so we'd come to it. We'd travel together. We'd come to a place. They'd camp outside of town. John and James would go into town, set everything up, and then basically, like I said, they were the production team. And so it was a lot of walking, a lot of work, but more so it was a lot of camaraderie and just listening to spiritual truth. And he would zing you with something really funny. And then right behind the laugh, he would drop in something profound. And the reason that he would do that is because when you're laughing, you're fearless. And when you're fearless, you're more receptive to receiving. And so he would get you laughing, and then he would drop a spiritual truth in. It's probably why I became a comedian in this life, for that exact reason. So, and I like to make people laugh all the time. And I hear the thunder outside my window. Good timing. Let's see. All there really is love. I agree with you on that. When you have time for painting, John, which I am now, because of my time management, I am now creating time to do that, which is, I'm still early in my time management, but that's still coming. Do you feel your art reflects you here and now, or past experiences, or both? Actually, here and now. This painting behind me, it was done in the year 2000, right after my regression. And it was painted from the regression memory. So it's John Davis that does the paintings. But they do come when I do a painting of Jeshua. Of course, it's from the past life memory, but it's still me painting in the here and now. And I I tend to think of everything as being here and now and present. Even though I have those memories, doesn't mean that I'm not John Davis. The channel is called John of New, not John of Old. And I think it comes down to all of us being as present as we possibly can be, being in the I am moment, not the I was moment, or the I will be moment even. Being here and now is the most important thing. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there, Larry. Oh, well, thank you, Teresa. Glad you like the coffee mug as well. Larry, what the heck were you doing not putting it in all caps? Oh. In the time of Jesus, were animals ever appreciated for the love that they give us, or were they appreciated for a purpose, work, food, etc., etc.? They're treated like pretty much like they're treated now. They were food, and they were pets, and it was the same sort of thing we have now. It's each culture has a different perspective. When I was in India, I was amazed. I was at a friend's house, and the this hanging bell rang by their door, and they walked outside, and a cow had walked up and rang the bell, so they'd come out and feed them, right? Or wandering the streets, right? The the relationship with animals is across all cultures, and pets were always there, and the idea of the shepherd and the lamb, carrying the lamb and caring for the lamb, and then eventually eating the lamb, right? It, the, it was very much like it is now. But one of the things that does happen in the here and now is we get these very zealotous people who get very angry, and and I don't think you should ever mistreat an animal, of course, but I'm a meat eater, and so is Jeshua. So I mean, it's part of who we are, and even in the Bible, they list all the animals you can eat. So it comes down to, can you do it loving it? Can you compassionately? When the Native Americans killed something, they thanked it for the food that it was providing. And it really comes down to being a part of the world's means to do those sorts of things. But yeah, they were treated much like they are now. I hope that answers your question. You know what, Susan? I have been very blessed in my life. I have been inside the Pyramid of Giza. I've been on top of Machu Picchu. I swam the Blue Lagoons of Iceland. I've done so many incredible things. I was at Petra, and every time, every time I'm out at an archaeological site, it's like walking through a cathedral or a church. It feels holy. It feels sacred. And I must say, it is my favorite thing to do when I travel, is to go see the archaeological sites, go to the places of antiquity. I just love that feeling of being there and doing that. So, yeah, it is incredible, as you said. Laughing is the best way to stay healthy. You're right. Hello, my sister Patty Swamler. Everybody be good now. My sister's here. Great. David, congrats on going to an audition today. And you got a second round. That's usually a good thing. Um, are you hearing the thunder, Marcy? No, it's slightly drizzling and the thunder's off in the distance. We are we are safe and sound here, I promise. Jon. I love that. Jeshua was referred to as the Nazarene because he was from Nazareth. Hello, Thunder. Let's see. I think that it's a very interesting thing. Like I often say, I don't know what reincarnation is. And when I look at people asking me, why have you incarnated at this time? Why is this? Why is that? I just think that humanity's veil is getting thinner. I think we're getting closer to bringing love here to Earth. And I think the people who are not in alignment with that shift are just getting loud and screaming and yelling and failing every time. They're running out of things to say because they can't argue against love. And I think what's really interesting is that the true teachings of Jeshua are the teachings of Buddha and Krishna and Baha'u'llah and Muhammad and Swaminarayan and Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer. They're just teaching love and being in the world but not of it. And I think that what's happening right now is the veil is getting thinner. The concept of incarnating at this time, I don't think of the world as a place where missions are accomplished. So being here at this linear time doesn't really make sense to me. I just think that the collective conscious awareness of our divinity is getting thinner, and we're all coming to a new place. That's why we're coming to this place of understanding and why when you look at the comments on my videos, people say what you say resonates. Well, resonation is the vibration of our veil. The resonance is all of us coming to that place in same vibration with love, because there's a feeling in love, and that feeling is the resonance of love. And what's happening is they're hearing love, and they resonate with it. And they go, "This makes sense to me." And so I think what's happening is the vibration of the world, of the physical world, is changing, and it's becoming more and more thin, and we're becoming actually less fearful. And the reason it seems like things are so crazy and messed up right now is because the people who are in fear are literally lashing out. But they're lashing out not in victory, but in loss. They're losing. And because they're losing, every day we're getting closer and closer to a more loving world. And I don't think it's a linear time thing. I think it's more of a vibrational thing in my book. But I appreciate your insight and your belief on that, Georgia. Amanda, you don't think your posts? Are you saying here or where? I'm not sure where your posts are disappearing, so I don't have any. I mean, I can see you here, so I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's not. I don't know. Hello, Y. Johnson. How are you? Good to see you. We're on for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to go cool my throat down. Well, Susan, let me tell you a story right now from the modern times and the city of Ur. When we got to the city of Ur, we walked out into the place, and they took us over to the ziggurat, and this man came out. And he was a local man, Iraqi man, and he was very nice. He was a very kind man. You could see the kindness in him. And I have photographs of me and him together. And when the more we talked and the more he spoke, the more he was just sharing all of the history of the site and all this stuff. And after we were done talking with him, one of the soldiers came over and told us a story. So he said, that guy you were just talking to, his family has been the caretakers of Ur for generations. And they are the only reason this site still exists. because the Shia and the Sunni have been wanting to fight on this site for years, and they have been the ones standing between the two factions and telling them not to fight on this site, and stopping and keeping peace on that site. And so there are people in this world doing miraculous things every day out of love. And he was there loving the history, loving the site, loving his family purpose, I guess they've chosen purpose. And because of that, he protected the site. So that, yeah, there are things happening every day in the world that are just as special as things that happened 2,000 years ago. It's just a matter of all of us opening our eyes and recognizing them and seeing them, because they're there. They're there to be seen. It's just a matter of really seeing the beauty in it. Let me jump back over. Hello, Tritart. Is it Tritarch? I hope that's the way you say it. Welcome. We're only on for about another, 14 minutes or so, and then we're out. Yes, you should hear the thunder. You know, John was known as one of the sons of thunder. Thank you very much. This is an interesting thing. Were they meant to be farmed? I had someone recently just ask me a question about using chemicals to grow grass and or to stop weeds, and my thoughts on that. And I'm formulating a video for that. I haven't really come to the conclusion of what I want to say fully. And I know what I want to say, but I want to say it in a way that's clear. I was a landscaper for many years, and I was one of those people who was using chemicals when I worked for those companies. But I have this story now where the neighbor says to me, "Why is your grass greener than mine?" Yes, I have that neighbor. And my response to him is because they don't rake leaves. He goes, "What?" I said, "Well, trees are part of the oneness of everything. And trees have leaves, and leaves do this miraculous thing where they actually direct water towards the trunk. They collect sunlight, and I mean, they're an amazing part of the tree that keep the roots shaded in the summertime. And when it gets a little cooler and the sun gets lower, they shrivel up and they fall to the ground right on top of the roots. And right on top of those roots, who at the right time of the year when these roots are pushing new growth. And what does that new growth need? It needs nitrogen. And what do those leaves break down to at that time of year? Nitrogen. So at the precise time of the year, the roots need nitrogen. The trees drop leaves of nitrogen on top of them. And everyone's raking them up and hauling them away. I turn on my lawnmower and I cut them up and I let them fall into the soil. And that's why my grass is greener. I work with it. You know, I work with the tree, and the same thing with animals. You know, I think we ought to find ways to do things humanely. But I do think that, you know, there are some people who will think it's inhumane to eat an animal in any form. And I think there has to come a place where we realize that, you know, people eat animals, and it's part of the thing. So I hope that answers that question. Love this one. Joel, welcome, and thank you for being here. Love the question. Could you share something about the Christ within others, trying to find forgiveness, understanding in others? I think we ought to let go of the word Christ altogether. We ought to throw the word Christ out. Christ is a Greek word, Christos, the anointed one. It is all about the messianic culture. We're all one with God. There is no one greater than anyone else or less than anyone else. So the first thing I think we ought to do, I think we ought to get rid of the word Christ, Messiah, or Savior. Take them out of the picture. What we need to recognize is the beauty and the oneness of God and ourself in others, which is, I guess, in essence, the same thing. So the semantic of Christ is the one part that I would get rid of. The feeling of your question is beautiful. We need to look at the beauty inside others and see others. When you're walking down the street and you see that person begging, that's an aspect of you, because that aspect of you is giving you the opportunity to be loving or judgmental. And you get to choose to be loving or judgmental in that moment, or to ignore them altogether and to turn a blind eye. Remember where Joshua said, whatever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. You are literally negating a part of yourself and the part of Joshua and Buddha and Krishna and your Aunt Tilly when you negate somebody else, when you belittle someone else, when you judge someone else, when you judge yourself as a judgmental person by judging someone. It's a matter of recognizing the oneness and the divinity in everyone. And I recognize your question as for the intent that it was meant, and I appreciate it. And I agree with you. We should look at for the divine within others, but to also remember that we are part of that same divine, and that divinity is our birthright. It's who we are. It's our very nature, and that divinity is within every person you meet. Within every person you meet, it's just a matter of recognizing them, and recognizing that you can be an expression of love to them so that they can feel their divinity once again and help them out of their fears and their anxieties. I hope that answers your question, and I hope you don't think I was in any way judgmental on what you said, because I think it's a beautiful question. I just have a personal thing about the messianic stuff, because I think it's taken Jeshua's message and kind of negated what he taught. So that's my thought on that. My name is Hal, but you can't fool Google with anything. That's funny. Why, Johnson? And Hal, I love Hal. 2001: A Space Odyssey. A lot of people don't know this. The reason the computer's name was Hal, because every letter after H, A, and L are IBM. So that's why the computer was named Hal, if you didn't know. Thunderstorms is when the best sleep happens. I can appreciate that. All spiritual teachings speak the same things. I agree with you. And that language is love. Amanda, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about this in this beautiful public place. And congratulations for having that expression show up to show you what you can release. That thing coming up is to say, oh, look, there's something I can release. The first thing you have to do is when it comes up, take the present moment and declare it. Say, I'm not doing that anymore. I am doing this. I am that's silly. I don't do that anymore. When you step into the controlling moment of your I am moment, the control of your I am moment, and you laugh at something, you negate it, you joyfully exhale, you release the fear associated with a negation. That laughter creates a new laughter moment. That redirection moment of I am joyfully doing this now. You're now creating a second present moment that's positive. Now you have two positive present moments that are getting stacked in your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is becoming more and more positive. And that's how you negate. You negate it by telling it it's negated. It's no longer anything for me. But when you feel it, it's a matter of you saying, am I reacting to my life or am I acting in my life? And it's a matter of stepping into action rather than stagnation. And so but congratulate yourself. If it came up, it's giving you an opportunity to say, great, I'm putting a period at the end of that chapter and now I'm writing something better. I'm writing a comedy now. And that's really the way you do it. You have to train your mind. When those things come up, just negate them. And when the habit is created of that's not valid and these other cool things are, you'll stop having that expression. I hope that answers your question clearly. What are your thoughts on non-human biological being found in spacecraft at the site of the hearings? I think it would be completely naive of us to believe that the universe is not peopled by many, many different species and things. I think the universe is huge and infinite, and God is huge and infinite, and it would be complete vanity for us to think we're alone. It's also complete vanity for us to believe because we can't get somewhere, they can't get to us. That's vanity as well. I think that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy, as Mr. Shakespeare would say, right? There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. We're going to start seeing things that we've never seen before. We're going to start experiencing things we've never seen before. We're going to start understanding things we've never seen before. Noetic science is showing us things we've never experienced before. And it really comes down to us realizing that absolutely we're not alone in this universe. It would be, as they said in the movie Contact, it would be a great waste of space, right? Right, literally. And so I'm sure, absolutely. Now, why would the governments have hid it? Out of fear, out of anxiety, out of trying to control the technologies? Sure. But I don't get invested in the conspiracy theories. I'm just open to whatever's coming. And then when somebody comes up and says this, that, or the other thing, I just say, yeah, no, I totally believe it. Totally believe that we are not alone in this universe. And it could be easily true. So that's my thought on it. What's your thought on it? Susan, I love this one. This breath, love, and laugh. Breathe, love, and laugh. Just exhale. Let go of the anxiety of the moment. Let go of the expression that is not easy, like an exhale. Love it. Love it. Chitra, I'm so glad you're saying this. Everybody I talk to sees it, and it's just a matter of understanding and recognizing it. And like I said before, a long time ago, when I left this work a long time ago and then came back to it, when I left, people were not awakening. They were too worried about who they were in past lives and all that stuff. When I came back, everybody's all about finding their connection. It's a drastic change in a matter of a decade. And so, yeah, it's beautiful to see the world changing in such beautiful ways. I love it. Well, you're quite welcome, Hal. Jeanette, you are welcome. We've got a few more minutes left. Hello to you as well. This is a very, very profound question. What are my thoughts on posterity and preservation of history? I think we should remember everything, but not have it necessarily dictate our lives. The book Huckleberry Finn. It's a very interesting book. It's a good book. It's a great book. It's written by an abolitionist who wanted the end of slavery. And the whole story is about a young man who at the end of the book chooses to go with the black man rather than the town villagers who are racists. That whole book is about this beautiful man named Jim and how this young boy chooses Jim over those people. That book is now banned across the country for the use of the N-word, which was used at that time regularly. I think they're missing the point of the book. This was an abolitionist who wanted the end of slavery, and his whole concept of that book was about Jim being the good one in the book. And I think that when we look at the past and we start negating things without actually looking at what they mean, or finding the love within them, then and only focusing on the hate that's in them, I think we have. That's troublesome. But all I can do is make my part of the world so bright that others take notice and lead. They see the off ramp to make their part of the world bright too. And so, collecting history, I think you should. Yeah, sure, why not? I like archaeological sites. I like going to those places, but I think we should learn from our past rather than use it as tools to spread more fear and anxiety. And that's my thought on it. I hope that answers your question. Well, good night, Susanna. It's been lovely. Oh, 3 a.m. Thank you for coming. It's been lovely to have you here. Thank you so much. Oh, go take your dog out, Chitra. Good night, all. It's time for me to go soon, too, here. Have a wonderful week. Q says the name Jesus Christ are swear words. That's why Jeshua chose just one letter to be known at this time. I'm not sure what you mean by Q. If you're talking about QAnon, I don't buy anything QAnon says, because that's just conspiracy theory run amok to cause fear and anxiety. If you're talking about the Gospel of Q, which is not QAnon, and that's the book that they claim Matthew, Mark, and Luke are directly written from, then I don't, that's historically, I'm not sure. But when it comes to Jesus Christ being swear words, my mom, my beautiful Catholic mom, she used to say cheese and crackers. Good night, Chitra. Thank you. Hallelujah. I'm just zipping down to see you. Good night, Sarah. Yeah, I'm gonna go now too, guys. Have love and hello, Raina. Larry, cool. Yeah, zipping down. Hi, Krista. Oh, thank you so much. I enjoyed the time with Alex. I can't wait to go back on with it again. We're supposed to do it soon. Well, hello, Spirit Junkie. Weird. Zipping down. Boy, a lot of people, a lot of things I missed on this. I did. Georgia, there is a video coming out tomorrow that I made today because someone asked me the question, what are my thoughts on John Edward? And so tomorrow is my video answering that question. Not Joshua's thoughts, my thoughts. And you'll see that tomorrow. Actually, Hal, if you go on my channel and search personal power or the word power, you'll find the video. I did that on that about 1.5 years ago. Good night, everyone. Good night, Susan. I'm going to head out too. This has been a lovely night. I hope you guys have gotten some cool stuff out of it. One more look at the eyes of Jeshua. Look at those beautiful eyes. So, my friends, have a great week. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. So these are bi-weekly now, so I can keep my voice clear. And you have a great night. Love you all. And I will talk to you on the next one. See ya. Bye. Thank you for joining us at the Live Loving live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and visit us at johnofnew.com.